Today we have the privilege of having our Dai is very senior in the Tao society. He is very sentimental in guiding us to set up this English class as well. Dai is very well known by the world, pioneer of the English class. He is also Zhong Siban, HQ, Ban Wu, instrumental in building the T.D. Wangsa HQ, and has helped to plan strategically for Care Center and achieve the Greater Heights for Asia. So, it gave me a great privilege to introduce our speaker for today, Dai Councillor. So, Dai Councillor will speak to us about the conduct of the scholar using the Book of Rites. Okay? And class, please rise to welcome Dai Councillor.
Cooperation of all friends here. So I personally have the honor to share with you this topic. This very ancient topic, as old as 2,500 years. The author, none other than Confucius himself, at a very late stage of his age, after he has accumulated all the experience and tested all his theory, and this is one of his conclusions. The word Ru, okay. Ru, if you look at the left hand side, there are two Chinese characters. One is the complex one, the one is Ru. The need of people here being masses, okay. Need of people. Scholars are the need of people. And how shall scholar hold himself? How shall scholar behave? How shall he act? So this form, this topic, the conduct of the scholar. During Confucius' time, this class of scholars don't exist yet. You have only two classes. One is the ruling class, noble families, and the masses, the people in general. The people in general, they are all not educated. According to the understanding that these people don't need education. They don't need to understand. They only need to follow instruction. Come spring, they do planting. Come summertime, they do DVD. Then come autumn time, they will harvest and they have a good winter season. That's how they should live. It's pure, what do we call pure agricultural society at that time. Confucius, because people that were treated as belongings, goods of the noble class, of the leaders. That was why there was still this very bad practice of Mandarin called Zhang. When the Lord passed away, all the servants will follow, or they will pick some of the servants to follow them to be buried alive, which is a very bad one, life sacrifice. And Confucius cannot accept that kind of thing. By then, even though the whole thing is not very clear yet, but Confucius felt that people should have the right, should have the basic right to live. What you don't let people do unto you, don't do unto others. And that is his principle, that is his belief. So by expanding this belief, he therefore feel that the lords should not do anything they like to the servants. Confucius was at the late stage of Zhou dynasty. Zhou dynasty was a very good dynasty, very good one, a very conscious one. Despite that, it's still not good enough, as the way I described. You see all this happening, this kind of phenomenon going on. Zhou dynasty was begun by Zhou Wenwang, later by his son Zhou Wuwang. And the younger brother was by the name of Zhou Gong. Zhao Gong, if you know Cantonese, we always say, we Zhao Gong, when you go to sleep, when you go to sleep, you remember Zhao Gong, that's where it comes from. Zhao Gong was the greatest contributor to establishment of Zhou dynasty in terms of public administration, rights, and culture. Zhou Gong, we call him New Zhou, okay, New Zhou, from the Son of Heaven down to New or Princess. Okay. So Zhou Gong was one of them, New Zhou. So Zhou Gong set up a complete system for a proper development of society. When we say proper development, means people can live in peace for a long period. Very stable life, therefore they can take care of their, what do you call, their livelihood properly, and they can multiply. If you look back, despite non-stop war in China, China still formed the biggest race in the world. That actually stemmed from the establishment of this practice from Zhou Gong. But as time goes by, from Zhou Gong to Confucius, that was about 500 years, almost 100 years. The system started to deteriorate. The so-called inherited sons of Qing don't have that virtues anymore. Okay? They begin to lose their influence, their control over the various states. Now, we look back at the system again. At time of formation of Zhou dynasty, they call it Tianxia. Okay? Below the heaven is one complete piece of land, and there's only one king by the name of Son of Heaven. But he has his descendants. In order to develop the country far and wide, so he began to distribute all his children and those with contribution, all the so-called country letter, okay, all the children to various places, open up the whole land, started with the cultivation for multiplication of his people. So that was how it was developed. And this is a system. You have the Son of Heaven, you have the various head of states, we call them prince or duke. And Zhou Gong's descendant was one of them in the state of Wu, Duke of Wu. At that time you have Lu Ting Gong, and the one that Confucius was advising now is Lu Ai Gong, but it's called Gong Duke. The sons of heaven cannot control the duke. The duke cannot control their own servant. It becomes a problem to the duke. So that's how Confucius began to feel that the class of scholars need to be established. That was why he started free education. Free in the way that in early days there was no school. No school. All children of noble family were being taught, were being educated within the clan, within the family itself. They don't go to school or public school. So Confucius started to set up his own school. Okay, quote unquote. It's just a teaching process. Those days, in order to in order to be accepted by the master as a disciple, they have to come up with a very heavy gift to show their sincerity and to show their high respect for the master. But Confucius changed the rule and he said no. As long as you bring a string of these little pieces of dry meat, enough. Okay, that's it. So from that on, Confucius managed to accept 3,000 students. Of course, you and I know very well. That spent over 50 years. it is not possible for him to teach everybody by himself. And then you tend to have the first tier disciple, second tier disciple, and third tier disciple. And that's how they spread. And don't forget, Confucius spent about almost 17 years, twice in round the Tianxia, round all the states. Those princes who are still who still have some integrity and who is still willing to build up the welfare of his people. And so that is the role of Confucius at that time. From then until now, we can see the spread of education. And that is the contribution by this class of scholars, which was created by Confucius. But Confucius set a very high standard for scholar. If you want to be a scholar, you have to be a superior man scholar. You cannot be a mid-man scholar. I'm not like to say what? 大人,小人. You heard him learning Mandarin? 小人 means 小人. The one with a very mean character, selfish, always looking behind the scene. That's called 小人. 大人 is what? The gentleman now. We call it Jing. Many have translated it to gentleman, but not quite fitting. James Stack was one of the missionaries. He translated Jing to superior man, because kings of that time have have position. He being a duke, court officer, and integrity at the same time. That is called Qing, superior man. Because that man occupy position, have power, and have influence. Gentleman is without ETS. Any common man can be a gentleman, but he is without power, he is without influence. Qing is different. He has both position and identity. So that's the background of how the scholar come about, class scholar. Then we shall start looking at it. This has scrolled it, okay. Who should adopt the translated text of James Stack in total? Purely was because for you and I, who are understanding of Tao, we need to explore a lot into this English text, but not many were available. And so happened that James Stack, governor of Hong Kong of 19th century, 18 something, he was a governor of Malacca in 1850. I think then he was promoted to Hong Kong. He was a governor there. He led a very big group of scholars to do translation of all the Chinese classicals. So in order to get used with his language, this is a 100-year-old English. So hope shall adopt it in total. We shall try to begin to get used to it. Can we read from here? Can we read slowly? You
I of you as Confucius says it is not the dress master, beware of the scholar. Confucius replied, when I was little, I lived in you and wore the garment with large sleeves. When I was older, I lived in Song and was then kept at my cap.
We can see that the Duke I of Lu at that time, when he asked Confucius about the scholar, it's still with a little bit of not very serious mode. Because scholar was something new at that time. The class had not actually existed yet. So he said, hey, how will you define your scholar, like your so-called scholar? Confucius had been promoting concept of scholar. So then Liu I asked him, what do you mean a scholar? Is it the way you look, the way you dress, the way you wear the cap? Confucius looked said, my my wearing were all custom. Okay? We just adopt wherever I grow up, I just follow the custom. And the cap that I wear is called Kung Fu. If you watch the ancient movie like Ming Dynasty, Song Dynasty, and that scholar's cap, the cloth cap is called Kung Fu cap. So scholar is not how I look, rather scholar is what is within me. Okay, we continue. So this is Confucius' answer. The Duke.
The Duke said, "Allow me to ask what is done about the scholar." Confucius replied, "If I were to enumerate their policies personally, I could not touch upon them all. If I were to go into the details of each, it would take a long time. You would have changed all your attendants in waiting before I had ordered." The Duke ordered the men to wait at the meeting.
Okay, we can understand. There were no chair, no table at that time. Everybody just sit on the floor. Scholar is going to take me at least one session. And you find that he was asked to go and pay a visit to his Duke Island. So he went. Basically, both parties were not prepared. Confucius, the Duke just asked, what is the definition of scholar? He said, if you want to understand scholar, you need to be prepared. You better change your attendance because you have to sit through for many hours for me to explain. But from this article, we know that it's quite brief. So maybe many points. The details I will not mention here. So Corinthians straight away, I could not touch upon them all. Then Duke appreciate. Then he said, okay, I shall be prepared to listen to you. Because this Duke his father told him he regretted in not employing Confucius service as a court officer. Confucius was forced out at that time. Actually, not really because of the fault of the previous duke, but rather the other court officers were too strong. They were the one who pushed Confucius out of the country. So he told his son, Duke you need to take good care of Confucius and try to seek his advice. Okay, we shall read together.
Confucius took place by his side. He then said, "The scholar has a precious gem placed upon his head, with which he is waiting to receive an education from some ruler. Early and late studies and many difficulties in question."
Confucius felt that the scholar has a precious gem. Rather, actually, it should be the scholar is the precious gem himself. He prepared himself well. Okay? As a scholar, he prepared himself well in all the 6 aspects of the skill. Like for example, cart riding, horse cart riding, archery, music, study, and this rites. When the VIP when the head of state come from various country, you must know the protocol. Okay? You must know how to take care of people. So as a scholar, they have to get ready this 6 skills during his preparation time, with which when he should be always be prepared, be ready to wait to receive invitation from some ruler. Because during his time, if a scholar aim to contribute, aim to serve the people, but he can only serve the people through his court position, he must be appointed as a court officer. Otherwise, he cannot serve the people. So, As a scholar, he must be prepared to wait for the invitation or to wait for the introduction to serve a ruler, any ruler, because there are many states at that time, probably about 50 to 60 states during Confucius time. Any duke that needs his service, he will serve because that will benefit that state's people directly. So he will study day and night, burn midnight oil. He will make sure that he gets himself a well-equipped and waiting to be questioned, waiting to be invited to serve. Let's read together.
He carries in his pursuits marketplaces and good faith, waiting to raise of faces. He is eager in all his ways, waiting to children and one so does he establish his character and prepare himself for the future.
So he carries, okay, he holds so close to his heart. Or what? Good quality. True-heartedness and good faith. Loyalty, trust, integrity. So he possessed all these things in preparation for being lifted, for being raised to office, so that he can serve. He is vigorous in all his doings. Everything he does, he strives for perfection. Every aspect of it, from rites to archery to study to card riding. Very vigorous, very serious, waiting to be chosen for employment. So does he establish his character and prepare himself for the future. Scholar is one who is always ready to be called to court, and that's attitude. Okay, we hear from here.
The scholar's garments and dress are all fitting and becoming. He is careful in his undertakings and doings. In declining great compliments, he might seem to be rude, and in regard to small compliments, hypocritical in great matters, he has an air of dignity, and in small matters of modesty, he seems to have a dignity in economics.
Scholars' garment and caps are all fitting and becoming. It's just ordinary. Okay? Just like any other ordinary thing. So nothing special. Okay? It's not outstanding. He's careful in his undertaking and doing. Always make sure that he does not. Recently, I heard a short briefing about this Singapore's coming Prime Minister, Mr. from Ipoh. I can't remember his name, Mr. Wu or Mr. Goh, the Hainanese. They went through his record. He was exactly like Confucius in his description. Can you imagine a person working for so many years, maybe 30 to 40 years? He has never break any traffic rule. Okay? No bill, nothing. Okay? His record is perfect. The way they put it is anything that is against the rule, zero. He is never against the rule. Be it in the family, outside, in the office, in the car or what. He's a perfect person. So you can see that gentleman actually bears in mind. He is careful in his undertaking and doing. Not just when I become a minister, when I become a public figure, that I got to be watchful. Yeah? Otherwise, people will, snap a photo of me and all this. From young to old, he is like that. That coming is not going to be. In declining great compliments, like when we were being appointed Jiangshi, remember? Oh, cannot, I can't, I'm not prepared, okay? I'm not prepared, I'm not up to mark. We will keep on telling it down, keep on telling it down. That itself, we have that in our blood, okay? A very serious appointment, we tend to be very cautious. We will say no. Okay. The way we say no, as if we are very as if we are very rude. He might seem to be rude. But when we turn down something that was being offered to us, we appear to be rude because there is a great compliment, important appointment, important post, big deal. We are very cautious, very careful. We will keep on turning it down for a few times before we accept it. And you and I, how do we accept it for the rejection? Was through encouragement of all our seniors. Remember? And all people around us, you cannot, you sure cannot, don't worry. So it's with a lot of encouragement before we accept. So we behave this manner. Seem to be rude. And in regards to small compliments, like you visit friends' house, they serve you a drink. No one, I just drink only, So when you drink also, you got to invite him first. That is your cup. You hold close your mouth already. That is it. That kind of thing. So it means that good manner, as if you are very hypocritical. Like when we walk past a Malay, even a Malay, they will do the same thing. Okay? We walk past, bang, makan, they will invite you to eat. Actually, it's their own dish. So it appears to be as if hypocritical. So in turning small compliment down, appear to be as if hypocritical. In great matters, he has an air of dignity. When it comes to a matter of principle, black and white, okay, is a matter of life and death. He will not agree on anything that's wrong. He will not compromise on anything that's wrong. With air of dignity, as if he is very proud, very not compromising. Of course, not compromising when it comes to important things. He holds principle dear to himself, and in all small matters of modesties. He seems to have a difficulty in advancing, but retires with ease and readiness. The way he behaves, the culture, right? With this kind of mentality, this kind of attitude in our working environment today, definitely he will be a loser. We will fight very hard. We will go and talk to our superior to tell him how much have I contributed without you knowing. How great is my potential without you knowing. So many people will go to the boss, go to the superior to negotiate. How good am I? Therefore, you must promote me. But for scholars of those days, Confucius said no. A scholar is different. He seems to have a difficulty advancing, but retires with ease. If you show some disrespect on him, if you think that he cannot contribute, he will retire easily. He will not fight with you. And he has a shrinking appearance, as if very timid, as if wanting in power, lacking ability. But actually he's well prepared. Such is he in his external appearance, appearance only. He appears to be very timid, very cautious, as if he's not capable. He's always wanting in power, but actually not. And that is a scholar. Let's read together.
The scholar recites only for a time, is brave as if he were expressive of dignities. When seated or on foot, he is courteous and respectful. In his speaking, his object is all to his nature in the activity which wishes to be exact and correct.
how wide have we spread and influenced. You look at most of us here, common people, we tend to have this kind of behavior, quite natural. We come up ourselves, or being taught by our grandparents for this. The scholar, wherever he resides, even during leisure time, is always very watchful, watchful on himself. He's grave, very serious, as if he was apprehensive of difficulties. Like our parents always remind us, watch out, be very careful. Like Mandarin say, 不要得意忘形. Don't be overjoyed. To invite troubles, to invite risk, and that is Confucius saying. He is courteous and respectful. In speaking his subject, is first of all to be sincere. That is the most important. Always speak from heart. If we cannot speak from heart, don't speak. If you don't have to speak, don't speak. In acting, when he started moving, he wished to be exact and correct. Just like we notice our Fokui Liche, you look at the offering, all this, our team will train himself very well to make sure that every move, every act is exact. That is we are actually expecting ourselves to that state, to that level, to be exact and correct. On the road, he does not strive about the most difficult or easiest places. Always be considerate. Always think of others first. Others first, we second. Just like the Westerners, Western culture is already inbuilt in our mind. Lady first, okay? Always lady first. So we already get used to anything. When there was some chaos or what, always lady first. Take care and protect the lady first. Just like Confucius, the way he trains scholar, also the same. Difficult one, leave it to the scholars. We shall take the time.
In winter and summer, he does not strive about the temperature, the light and shade. He guards against that he may be invaded for whatever he may be called to. He attends well to his person that he may be ready for action. Such are his preparations and precautions for the future.
You look at our Lord Chandra. He lived a very disciplined life. He took very good care of his own physical health to make sure that he enjoyed the longevity. His longevity is not so much for himself actually. It's rather that he shall try to live as long as possible so that he can serve all of us. Just like our children also say, our children always take very good care of her own physical health. Like she is forced to retire late. She can't retire before midnight 12. So she said she'll retire at midnight 12. Then she'll wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. From 5 in the morning up to 6 or 6:30. He's alone. He said he will do all his planning. He will do all his planning. Do all his work. Then 6:30, when everybody wake up, they will go for morning exercise. From 6 to 7, morning exercise. Daily, rain or shine. Then from 7 onward, they will do morning study. Then only they go for their breakfast. So that is the routine of children. Whenever she travels, she is very cautious about the risks on the road, all this. Always very cautious. So whoever carry our children have to be very watchful on the way he drive. Watch the traffic properly. That's our children. You see, the way our children and children behavior as if they were very scared of dying. As if they were very scared of dying. It's exactly the scholar mentality. That scholar, he guards against death, that he may be waiting, in waiting to serve. Just like our Lao Chan children is always serving us as staff follower. And similarly, scholar of those days, their opportunity to contribute was to be appointed as top officer, or at least the most important one is of course the Prime Minister, News Assistant. He attends well to his person that he may be ready for action. Such is how he prepared for himself. Okay. Such is his preparation and precautions for the future. Guard against all the risks. Take good care of his physical health. Study, learn vigorously. Take good care of your own health. Just to make sure that he can live long enough, as long as possible, to serve the people. And so that is the purpose of life of a scholar. Let's read together. The gold and jade is not his preference, but rather his truthfulness and good faith guide him along to serve the people. Land and territory is not his concern. Okay? It's not his concern. When he strives hard to prepare himself to get appointed as a top officer, wealth, land and territory is not in his mind. Rather, the service to the people, opportunity of service to the people. He does not desire a great accumulation of wealth. That's secondary, that's not important. But looks on many accomplishments as his riches. Like we always say. We are rich in principle. We are rich in principle. During the court service of a scholar, he holds high integrity and principles. Anything that is against his integrity and principle, he will fight hard, he will object, and if he has to lose money, he has to lose his job, let it be. That is a scholar. Okay, we shall read together.
It is difficult to win him, but easy to train him. It is easy to train him, but difficult to retain him, as he will not show himself when the time is not proper for him to do so. It is not difficult to win him, as he will have no fellowship with what is not licensed. It is not difficult to retain him, as he must to work and then take the pay. It is not easy to pay him. Such are the conditions of civil association with others.
In today's environment, it's very hard to find this kind of stuff. Very hard to find this kind of stuff. If you are a prime minister, you would want this kind of ministers. You would want this kind of what they call parliamentary secretary. You want this kind of deputy minister who will serve first before asking, but actually never ask. Okay. Confucius said, a scholar, how you define a scholar? This is one of the very important definition of a scholar. This is scholars code of ethics. To employ him is not easy. If he cannot agree with you, he won't work with you. Just like Confucius, he refused to work for Qing family in his state. Okay. Qing family at that time was the most influential family, noble family of state of Lu, but Confucius refused to work for him. In fact, Confucius was fighting him at that time when he was a top officer. So, a scholar, it's difficult to win him. If he cannot agree with you in principle, no matter how powerful you are, he won't serve you. You cannot win him. But easy to pay him. If he agree with you, if he think that you are a good lot to serve, he will work for you. He will not demand, he will not ask for anything. He just work. As long as he can keep the family going, that's it. His mind is full of work and responsibility rather than remuneration. It is easy to pay him, but difficult to retain him. Along the way, if he finds that this lot superficially look good, but not so good from inside, he will most likely quit. He can quit easily. So it's difficult to retain him. Because his mind of serving, his ultimate service is actually to the people, not to the so-called his law. As he will not show himself when the time is not proper for him to do so. Is it not difficult to win him? As he will have no fellowship with what is not righteous. He will not go along with people who are not righteous, who are not principled. Is it not difficult to retain him if the boss is not principled? As he must first do the work, then take the pay. Is it not easy to pay him? For sure we love this kind of stuff. Such are the requirements of the scholars. Such are the conditions of his close association with others. He wants to serve. He has to serve through the youths or the night. He has no choice but to serve through them. But his aim is to actually serve the people. So that is very clear. Now we shall read this one together.
And though if he tries to innovate his delights and pleasures,
you can swam him, you can drown him with all the delights and pleasure, with all the good music and all the beautiful women. He is not moved by all these things. Anything contrary to his sense of righteousness, he will fight, he will disagree, he will quit. If he cannot fight, he will quit. If all his advisors fall on deaf ear, he will also quit. Okay, let's read together.
though a multitude may attempt to force him from his standpoint, and his way is stopped by force of arms, he will look death in the face without changing the principles which he maintains. He will face birds and beasts of prey with their talons and wings, without regards to their fierceness. He would undertake to
Though a multitude may attempt to force him when he's facing the great pressure, everybody is against him. And he was blocked by the force of arms, by those powerful. In the earlier part, we see that he got his safety, he got his life as if he's scared of dying. Remember? But now, when it is against the principle, you look at him. He's a different man. He will look death in the face. without changing the principles which he retained. He would face these birds. Is not small birds like the sparrow or swiflet. No. These are referring to the very, very big, fierce birds. Okay? Fierce bird. Bird and beast. So he is not fearful in fighting against all these forces. And without regard to the fierceness, he is not worried. He would undertake to raise the highest tripod. If you walk past some temple, you can see the hill over there, the big hill, the big tripod, the one with 3 legs. This tripod, those days actually represent power of the state. The bigger the state, the bigger is the tripod. But actually, there should be only one tripod for a Tianxia. Okay? Basically, like Zhou dynasty. Okay? Zhou dynasty. The whole of Zhou dynasty is called a Tianxia. Say we call it country. Inside that, it was divided into the states. It's very difficult to say country. Okay, we can say a country and state. Every country should have only one tripod. But at that time, as far as the Chinese were concerned, there were only one country, so they call it Tianxia. Under the heaven, there's only one territory, which is called China. In China, in front of the palace, there's only one tripod, which is very heavy. So they tend to measure your strength by lifting. All the fighters, all the generals, they tend to measure their strength. They tend to challenge each other's strength by lifting that tripod. And the scholar is one of that kind of character. If he's faced a challenge, never mind about his strength. Whether can he lift that tripod or not, he will still do it. That means that he is being driven by that principle rather than his strength alone. Let's read together.
He has no occasion to regret what he has done in the past, nor to make preparations for what may come to him in the future. He does not repeat any error of speech, any rumors against him. He does not pursue up to their source. He does not allow his dignity to be interrupted. He does not break the practice beforehand in the councils which he gives such things in which he stands out apart from other men.
Why is Confucius so confident that a scholar defined by him is such? He has no occasion to regret for what he has done. Because Confucius said, a scholar is a very watchful and careful scholar. He will do anything with 100% certainty, with caution. He will not decide or do it in a rush, with a rush manner. So that was why a scholar was such a man that who has no occasion to regret. What Confucius was trying to imply is a scholar will do no wrong because he is such a view. Nor to make preparation for what may come to him in the future, because a scholar is always prepared. We have said earlier, a scholar will learn day and night, every moment, all his life, to get ready for appointment. So he is always ready. He does not repeat any error of speech because he speaks with caution. He thinks 3 times before he speaks. He thinks 3 times before he does anything. That was why a scholar can afford to say that, okay, in no occasion, I do not have to do all this thing. Any rumors against him that come to his ear, he will take it with understand me, people start to slander against me, never mind. Okay? If this gentleman who slandered me happen to stand beside me, I shall explain to him. If he is also one of the gossiper, one of the mumble carrier, and then that's it. Convince it. I will not try to track rumors to its roots to see where it comes from, because that is a waste of time. As far as Confucius, as far as scholar is concerned, those were not important. Because being a scholar, they was 100% sure of their own behavior, their own conduct, their own every speech and act. They know that they will not make mistakes. And that is a scholar. Confucius defined a scholar that a scholar must self-discipline himself to that level to make sure that he adds this description. He does not allow his dignity to be interrupted. He does not dread to practice beforehand the counsels which he gives. Such are the things in which he stands out and apart from other men. Once his favorite is Blue-Eyed Boy, but the name was Qing. Qing was a real great disciple of Confucius. Expressed a lot. So one day he was discussing with Confucius. He said, "Look, Master, I want to do all these things." Actually, he can. That disciple, Qing, was a very capable disciple. So he told Confucius, "I want to do all these things." Confucius just said to him, "Being a superior man, you shall do it first before you talk. You shall get it done first. Then only come back and discuss with me." So that Confucius, the requirement of a scholar was like that. Okay, we shall continue.
If the smaller friendly relations may be cultivated.
That is Confucius.
In his dwelling, he will not be extravagant. In his eating and drinking, he will not be luxurious. He may be gentle, take knowledge of his errors and failings, but he should not have them enumerated to him to his face. Such is his boldness and determination.
In his dwelling, he will not be extravagant. Should be just go for the basic. In his eating and drinking, he will not be luxurious. He may be gently admonished of his error and failings, but he should not have them enumerated to him to his face. Actually, we have those good cultures that will be passed down. Like even Malay, I look at Malay. Malay have this peribahasa or this. They have all this bahasa halus, bahasa lembut. You look at Malay, their culture is you cannot tell somebody in his face that he is wrong. You salah, but rather they will use peribahasa or their own way to hint that you are wrong. Actually, we have that kind of culture too. Except now that on one hand we become very westernized. On the other hand, the pace of life moves too fast. You cannot afford just to hint on somebody's mistake. You have to tell him in his face. Okay? And today's men are even worse in the sense that I will pretend. If you only hint to me that I'm wrong, I'll pretend. So people tend to be forced to tell another person directly, how wrong are you? Isn't it? That is today's happening, today's behavior. But as a scholar, no. A scholar takes so much of pride in himself that he will make sure that his acting is perfect. His acting is perfect. So when people felt that he made mistake, people should only hit him instead of telling directly his face. Such is his boldness and determination. Okay, we shall read.
The scholar considers clear-headedness and good faith to be his coat of and helmet, propriety and righteousness to be his shield and buckler. He walks along bearing aloft over his head benevolence, he drills, holding righteousness in his arms before him. The government may be violently oppressive, but he does not change his course. Such is the way in which he maintains himself.
That is the scholar. What is in scholar's heart? Is the loyalty and trustworthiness. Is the loyalty, trustworthiness, and the benevolence. Okay? What do you call this? Humanity. All this quality to be his coat of mail and helmet. That is his own protective gear. He protects himself by being a good person, loyal, trustworthy, and with humility and with humanity. So he protects himself through that way. Through providing and righteousness, to be his shield and bucklers. Again, we can see that he asks a lot out of himself, but at the same time, he is not fearful of oppression. To him, principle is the most important one. Principle cannot be compromised. We read again.
The scholar may have a house in only a moon around, for the regulation of those surrounding walls is only 10 paces long, with an outer door of thorns and bamboos and opening in the wall, long and pointed within.
A scholar's living, the house could be that simple. He only owned a piece of land, one mo, MU, okay, the first line, a mo of ground. Mo is the measurement, area measurement. Mo is 1/6 of an acre today. 1/6 of an acre is about 7,500 foot square. Okay? It is that size of land. For their standard, that is a very small piece of land. Then he can't even afford to build wall. He will just plant shrubs to form his fencing. And you know, the house opening, the door is a door just with a piece of gunny sack. Or you know, the neck. And the window was being formed by the broken urn. So Confucius purposely described the house of a scholar. They eat and live that simple. When a man is without desires, a man is not dependent on all these external needs. A man then can be a man who cannot be compromised. Okay, we shall read this one.
He means many have to exchange garments when they go out. They may have to make one day's food serve for 2 days. If the ruler is born to him, he does not dare to have any hesitation in the next.
This describe how poor they are, okay? How simple a life they live. But Confucius never forget to mention that they are always ready, always ready accepting court service, court appointment. No hesitation in accepting office. Always getting ready, waiting to serve the people. Okay, next.
The scholar lives and has his associations with many of the present day, but the men of antiquity are the subject of studies. Following their principles and example in present age, he will become a pattern in future ages.
He lived together with his contemporary, but at the same time, he set the six kings as his role model. Like King Yao, King Sun, King Yu, and then King Wen, King Wu, King Zhou, Liu Zhou, all this. These are the men of antiquity. Men of antiquity are the subject of his study. From the age of 15, he set himself a goal to study. And study what? Study the book of sage and sages. Okay? Sage and sages. And that's him. So following the principles and example in the present age, he will become a pattern in future ages. This is called you look at it, you can see the hierarchy. From Confucius received from men, from sages 1,500 years before him, and today, 2,500 years later, we are modeling after Confucius. Here we shall continue. He will not compromise, even though he is being put under pressure. Okay, number 11.
No danger may threaten him.
I use the languages here. Okay, this one.
The scholar learns extensively but never allows his researches to come to an end. He does what he does with all his mind, but is never buried.
Okay. Learn what we and never stop learning. Practice relentlessly and never say too tired. That's our children. You know what our children said? She walked into her 80s and she told me, you know, every day how I move myself. The body is so tired already. I cannot work it. I have to move my body with my zhi, okay, with my qi. In the mind, I know I have so many things to do. I have so many meetings to chair. I have so many places to go and visit and do briefing to them. So it is the qi that carry his life body to do all these things. And so you can see that that's how a scholar behaves. Okay, the cure.
He shows strong regard for men of nature and ability, and yet is forbearing and kind to all. He is like a potter who breaks his square and mold, and his powers are bound to fit together. Such is the largeness and enormity of his spirit.
In fact, you and I, we come to temple weekly. We are also learning from all our Qian and Qian for actually on this to build up our character. Sometimes we come in with all kinds of thorns. With all kinds of thorns. Slowly we learn to be more accommodative, more understanding. And this one, 13.
Scholar represents members of his own family from public employment without shrinking from doing so because of the application and purposes others others beyond it, without regards to their need and individuality.
When he already occupied high position, his heart is sincere. Okay, his heart is sincere. He can appoint his relatives, children, to hold office. He can also appoint his opponent's children to become court officer. What is in his mind is the value of that person, the quality. Never mind about his background, never mind about his relationship with me, but rather it's of his ability, the quality to help to serve the people. Okay, we continue. For the people, the only thing you consider is the merits. But the way Singapore do it is very well over the last 40 years. Very well done. The way they prepare the succession, very, very well done. Come to this gentleman, this week 1 year, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. This coming one is a 4th Prime Minister. And their succession plan is very successful, very well done. So the only thing they consider is the merits. of same ambition, same thought in his heart. Whatever circumstances, he will be with them. From the heart, he will be with them. Now 15.
The scholar keeps his person free from shame and continually guide the journey.
Okay. You find that he defined the role very well. The superior is in a position who is supposed to decide, and him as a top officer is supposed to advise. In case the ruler make mistake, he will just give him, indirect him. If that's still not good enough, he will make it clear to him, but behind the scene, meaning not in the public, not in front of the door. But no matter what, he will persist. Okay, he will pursue. He will make sure that his superior get to know, get to understand his advice, but he will not press his superior to act immediately. Action is all prerogative of his superior. That's why he said, but still does not press them urgently. Okay, continue.
He does not go among those who are going to make himself of the high, nor place himself among those who have given wisdom to make himself out of that much.
It's what we call Qing Jing. Anybody that comes to us, we mark anybody that we go to, in our eyes, they are all equal. They are all equal. Okay, now continue.
In the time of good government, he does not think little of what he himself can do. In the time of disorder, he does not allow his cause to be obstructed. He does not hesitate with those who think like himself, nor condemn those who think differently. So to stand out alone among others and his own solitary cause.
Okay. This is especially applicable to us. We as a Tao Qing, never mind about the promotion, never mind about the essential umbrella. Okay. What is more important is you and I can always cause Tao Qing. You and I can always go and change them, help the Tao Qing. We can do a lot on our own, okay, irrespective of the situation. Number 16.
Scholars sometimes do not take the high office of being a minister of the Son of Heaven, nor the low office of serving the business of the state. He is watchful over himself in his retirement, and there is a generous enlargement of mind, while at the same time he is bold and useful in his intercourse with others. He learns sensibility that he may know whatever should be done.
Even though he very much wanted to serve, but not necessarily he will be serving. Depend on the master. Okay? Depend on the Lord. If the Lord is servable, he will serve. Otherwise, not. Okay, we continue.
He makes himself equated with elegant accomplishments and thus smooths and polishes all his corners and angles. Although the offer be made to share his state with him, it would be no more to him than the small bits of
Okay. Very clear. Number 17.
the scholar as those with whom he agrees in and produces the same objects, with whom he cultivates the same thoughts and there are the same methods when he is there the same sample with him. He rejoices in them, he is necessarily below his, he does not tire of them.
Scholars, they have classmates who study together. Same aim, same ambition, same path, same thinking. They may be separated, each serving their own state, which is maybe a few hundred or few thousand miles apart. They have not met each other for a long time. Even though they have not met each other for a long time, but when he hear rumors about his friend, which is prejudice against his friend, he does not believe in them. Because you look at the way they train themselves up, not easily influenced and changed by the environment. Sometimes when somebody comes and tell us something about our old friends, hey, this guy changed already, we tend to fall in, you know? We tend to believe, we say, our friend changed already. But Confucius said, a scholar, no. With the institute, no. Number, gentleness. These are the few aspects of humanity, and we carry on, we shall see, humanity. The rules
of ceremony, speech is the ornament of it, music are the harmony of it, sharing and distribution are the meaning of it.
Okay, we repeat again. Gentleness
And goodness are the roots of humanity. Respect and attention are the ground on which it stands. Generosity and large-mindedness are the manifestation of it. Humility and capacity are the ability of it.
all this represent humanity, yeah? Okay. The rules.
The rules of ceremony are the demonstration of it. Speech is the ornament of it. Singing and music are the harmony of it.
So when we go back to the chance of doing the game, this is how Confucius defined humanity. Okay? Then we look at this continuation.
The scholar emphasizes all these qualities in union and custom, and still he will not venture to perfect humanity on account of them. Such is the honor he feels for his ideal and the humility with which he defines it for himself.
He is full of stuff and yet humble at the same time. Okay, we continue.
The scholar is not himself concluded by poverty and any condition. His thoughts is not limited or exhausted by riches and noble condition. He feels all his praise that rulers and kings may try to inflict. He observes the bonds that elders and superiors may try to impose, and superior officers cannot.
He's a court officer of such such a strong acute quotient. He may be under threat, under pressure, under all sorts of nonsense, but he can remain he himself. Always. Okay, we continue.
Those to whom the multitude nowadays give their name has no title to it, and they constantly employ it to one another as a term of reproach.
They will tend to meet each other. Okay? Then, okay, the last one.
When Confucius came from his wanderings to his own house, I gave him a public teaching. When the Jew heard his words, he became more severe in his speech and more righteous in his conduct. He said, "To the end of my days, I will not presume to live."
You and I, we actually fit well into scholar. Okay? We are a scholar, especially. We are given an opportunity to apply our scholarship in Temple. We shall practice, cultivate, and propagate Tao. We shall share our humility with all our friends. We shall uphold the humanity as we define in that various aspect. I hope that with the sharing of this topic, we have a reference. We actually roughly know about all these things. We actually possess this quality as well, except not to the completeness of this Confucius sharing. I hope that we shall share it together. And most of the time we shall just go through it again. And whatever shortcoming that Jose has done, Jose seek for forgiveness. Okay, thank you. Clear explanation of what the scholars should be behaving like. On and off in this, as we follow our Confucian text, there will be two words that we will normally come across. One of which is a Jing, right? Like what we say, Jing is a superior man, and the other one is a scholar. These will be the two words that we will frequently come across
as we go through the Confucian text. Perhaps in the future, now that we have got an idea of what a scholar how he should behave, what are the characteristics a scholar should possess. In future, when we tend to refer to any other text, the Confucian text, straight in the mind, we'll straight go to what a scholar should be. In summary, we have gone through about 20 chapters describing in detail as well as in general terms what a scholar should be. Now, but first, allow Hoshe, because of the time constraint, allow Hoshe to just summarize some of the points. Number one is a scholar. How do you define a scholar? A scholar is diligent in the pursuit of his studies. In studies case, refer to the 6 skills. The 6 skills are those skills that are considered to be important at that time. That is about 2,000 or 3,000 years ago. He is diligent in his studies. And not only is he diligent, he possesses, more importantly, the qualities of a scholar. The qualities include traits like loyalty, sincerity, his character. So the scholar possesses the necessary qualities that qualify him as a scholar. And not only that, possessing the qualities is one thing. How he behaves. Behavior is also very important to define a scholar. He behaves as a dignified person. Although he may be modest and even at times seem to be very stubborn, uncompromising in his principles, appearing to be very stubborn, but he sticks to his principles. So let us not mistake one for the other. Okay? And in terms of behavior, he is always very careful. He keeps very good manners, a well-mannered person. That's why when we talk of this scholar as well as a superior man, the scholar possesses most of the qualities that one attributes to a superior man, a Jing. That's why these terms are in a way quite overlapping in the sense that the qualities possessed by one is also that of the other. And he's been respectful, very sincere, courteous, careful in manners, and not only is it behavior, in his actions. His actions is being very exact. They don't beat around the bush, as I say. Exact, correctitude. And he's also, the style of his living is that he's not affected by circumstances. Whether circumstances are favorable or unfavorable, he remains a scholar. Very well disciplined, and he always seeks to improve himself, not for his own self, but in service of society, in service of others. And on top of that, apart from his actions, is his values. A value should also define a scholar. He does not take wealth as the primary aim of what he's doing. In fact, instead, he takes righteousness as his value. The paramount importance is righteousness. He does not go into politics for the purpose of becoming rich. Let's put it this way. Okay? I'm sure you can see the how relevant it is in our today's society, right? Okay. And is it very difficult to get along with a scholar? Is it very difficult to with all these values that one possesses? Is it so difficult to get along with a scholar? Yes and no. As I explained earlier, it's not easy to find someone that we can get along with all these principles. Yet it can be easy also to get along with him, provided your principles and values are in line with those of a scholar. And he's not tempted by any material wealth or considerations. He's unafraid of just how we describe the animals with the birds with the talons, the claws. This is, in fact, he's describing, he's not afraid of, he's unafraid of the powerful forces, or what we call today the powers that be. He's not tempted by all these material considerations, and he has no regrets. Being a scholar, by definition, he does the right thing. At least he endeavors to do the right thing. He's confident that what he's doing will be correct as long as he does according to what a scholar should do. So, in a sense, that is a pride there. Okay, it's not arrogance. It's not arrogance. There's a difference between arrogance and pride. Okay, he's in principle. So uncompromising is he in principle that he does sometimes appear to be very stubborn. Okay, very obstinate. And his way of living also, not only a part of his values, his way of living, he lives in a very frugal manner. And his way of dealing with people, he do not speak. Nowadays we are very common to speak directly in the face, like what you said. In today's pressure we are so pressurized and we want to achieve objective, results oriented. I tell you, I don't wait for you to realize. In the olden days, they make you to tell you indirectly so that the person spoken to will realize what he has been doing. But now we tell you, do this. You are wrong. You are right. Right in front of the person. Okay? So this is the difference you can see in today's society as compared to the past. And his acceptance of duties, but it's given to him, we accept it, provided he knows that he's able to do it. Okay? And even if he's not given the duties, he's been turned down, he will also take it with peace. He will also be able to take it not with any resentment. Being passed over for promotion, for example, or being somebody whom you think that is not, you are more qualified than the person, and you have been turned down. You don't have this resentment against your boss, the superior. And he's very clear in his objectives. His objectives are learning what he learned from history. In other words, you learn from the past and apply to the future. The model is set for the future. And that is also being unselfish. He doesn't, in today's society, he said the Chinese Kung Fu, I will teach you 9 Kung Fu steps, the 10th step I retain. Right? That is Chinese Kung Fu, they call it. So he's unselfish and he is unstable in his character. Okay, with that, I think we thank Guy Jiang very much for giving us a very detailed explanation of what a scholar is. Keep it there in mind in future when you come across the word scholar, straight away you jump to all these values. Thank you so much, and thank you for your attendance. Shall we now do our departure rituals?